What is up guys, Zach here from the Chaos Galaxy, and today I'm going to be doing day 3 of my, I still have no idea what to call this, deck week, deckathon. Anyway, that awkwardly brings us to day 3 where I'll be profiling a combiner creature based galaxy, which is quite a strange one because these cards tend to be quite inconsistent if you're using combiner creatures. If you don't know what combiner creatures do, they use this game mechanic where they're a group of creatures that have very strong stats. They don't cost any stars, they just require you to draw both parts of that card, and then you put the two combiner cards together and they become one creature card, taking up 2 zones. So, there's a couple of cards in set 2 that go and help out with these cards, so I thought I'd make a deck of them, and I'm going to show you how it turned out. So, starting with the creatures, I've got one copy of Omnius, the planet Abomination. It's 10 stars, so it's incredibly difficult to play. However, because none of the combiner creatures actually cost any stars, he's absolutely fine. There should be no problem to play in the deck, and he just gives you a big alternative boss monster to your difficult to draw into combiner creatures. So, one copy of Omnius. Oh, sorry, I forgot to go through the planet card. The planet card we're using is Rokah. Quite a few of the regular creatures, not the combiner creatures in the galaxy, are from the planet Rokah, and I think it's really important because this planet lets you see into your opponent's hand. You can play your combiner creatures very timely. If you see they've got a galaxy crash in their hand, you don't want to go ahead, play all your big combiners, do a big move, and then just have them wiped out by a galaxy crash. If you can tell what's going on in your opponent's hand with the planet Rokah, you can plan your moves wisely and know when to bring out your big combiner creatures, so that's why I've used that. Anyway, on to the creature cards now. There's only 6. We've got one copy of Omnius, the planet Abomination. Similar to him, got 2 copies of Star Absorber. As you're not really using many stars, this creature, which is also from the planet Rokah, allows you to pay all those stars to give him a really high power and health, because he gains 40 for every star played at the time he's played. Next up, I've got 2 copies of Guster. It's just a nice stall card, a bit embarrassing actually that you own one copy, but if you're trying to draw out the game and let you draw into your combiner creatures, Guster is a really cool card to just slow your opponent down by getting zones off their planet. And I'm also using one copy of Space Patrolman. Say your opponent has attached an Ice Elixir or a KO to one of your combiner creatures, he can just kill any attachment card when he's played. So onto the combiner creatures, the main event of the deck. I'm using 2 copies of the Island Beast, both the Mountain and the Plain. Instead of using a huge range of combiner creatures, I've gone for sort of like 3 or 4 like quite specific ones that I'm using 2 copies of, just for consistency issues. So for example, if you draw one copy of Island Beast Plain and you're waiting to draw into your Mountain, if you're using 2 of this in your galaxy, you're twice as likely to draw into it than if you are just using one copy of this combiner creature and then a copy of a different combiner creature instead. So that's kind of the theme I'm going with when I say I'm using 2 copies of a lot of these. So 2 copies of the Island Beast. I've then got 2 copies of Blattaclypse the Light. He's kind of the next strongest combiner creature in terms of power and health. Also 350 power means he gives you 4 points for an attack, so that's pretty cool. And then for the one-offs, I've got 1 copy of Sky Sentinal, just for that big 500 booty, and then 1 copy of Slug. These 2 guys here are kind of the weaker combiners, what you say? In my opinion, so I'm only using 1 of them, although Slug does come in very, very handy in some games. That's it for the creatures and combiners. Now I'll get onto the resource cards. So, probably the best card in this entire galaxy is Telepathic Touch. Lets you add any combiner from your galaxy to your hand, and then you can't play it this turn because it's so good. But yeah, literally just gives you any combo piece you need to get the game going. Next up, oh no, I'm dropping them everywhere. We've got 2 copies of Mystical Relic Golden Chalice. Both players shuffle their hands back into their galaxies and then draws the same amount of cards. Just when you open up a dead hand, like just 1 piece of every different combiner under the sun. Like say that's your hand that you can literally do nothing with, just lets you shuffle them all back in and start the game again pretty much. Then 2 copies of Star Path. Like with those creature cards before, you're not really paying stars for anything apart from zones, which are quite valuable, but I'll get into that in a second. So you just pay stars in multiples of 4 and then draw cards for every 4 you paid, so it just lets you draw into all your combiner pieces quicker. Next up, I've got 1 copy of Creature Conjurer and 1 copy of Battle Conjurer. Initially when I made this deck I was like, oh, 2 of each of these is an absolute must. zones are so valuable and you need as many as you can get because 2 of them are being taken up per combiner. However, it's very, very unlikely that you'll have more than 2 whole combiner creatures on your planet at once. You're not going to draw 6 cards and just draw into 3 perfect pieces of combiner creatures. So it's more than likely that you're only going to be needing 4 creature zones pretty much and 4 battle zones. And because creature zones first ones cost 2, then 4, then 8, and then 16, that one that costs 16 is going to be the really pricey one. So I've just put in these 2 cards to give you that 4th creature zone and that 4th battle zone. Because if you use 2 copies of these, then you'd have 5, and you can't play another combiner in 5 zones. So I don't think they're needed, but they're definitely a good choice. Next up, got 1 copy of Orbit, just a really good combo card. You can play something like a Star Absorber or a Star Path to just spend all your stars, play Orbit, take your opponent's stars, and then buy an extra zone or something with it. I'm using 1 copy of Bolide Comet. I think in all of these galaxies, I'm just putting in kind of 1 piece at least of resource hate, just depending on which decks you go up against. And then we've got the 1 Galaxy Crash to round things off. On to the attachments now. I've only got 2. Got 1 copy of Naked. This just, if you play a big combiner creature or an Omnius, you can just play it, attach Naked to it, and then it's completely protected from any attachment cards, so KOs, Ice Elixirs, all that dangerous stuff that we don't want. Then got 1 copy of For Sale Sign. I thought this would be really interesting. Because basically attach it to an opponent's creature and then you can pay 4 stars, then you can pay it the amount of stars it has to take control of it, and then it forces your opponent to pay more stars to buy it back. And obviously stars aren't that big of an issue in this galaxy. So then for the activator cards, I've got 2 copies of Relohex Mine. Just letting you draw 1 card just lets you draw into your combiners quicker and just slims down your deck to increase your chances of drawing the right cards. And then 1 copy of Beast of the Black Hole, because it's one of the best cards in the game. So guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think of this galaxy. Let me know how you think it would stand up against some of the other galaxies I've shown over the past couple of days. Let me know what you think I need to change, if there are any cards you should add in, and all that good stuff. If you want to get hold of any Chaos Galaxy cards, there'll be a link in the description below. Telepathic Touch, probably the most needed card in this deck, comes in Chaos Galaxy Set 2. Deep Space Discovery, so there'll be a link to that in the description below. But apart from that, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.